Hey there, PCOS TTC moms, and welcome to the Becoming Moms Method. This is Dr. Tian Premlab. I'm a mom of one, fertility coach, pharmacist, and someone who's been there in the trenches of PCOS infertility myself. Like the trailer has mentioned, I spent over 2 years trying to conceive with insulin resistance and PCOS. And I know how exhausting it is to feel like you're doing everything right, tracking, testing everything, tweaking your diet and lifestyle, over exercising, yet still wondering when it will finally be your turn. That's why this podcast exists. Here, I want to give you a breakdown of all of my tips and strategies. They're science-backed, realistic strategies to help get your ovulation back, balance your hormones, optimize your egg quality, and help you move closer to meeting your baby. So if you're ready for my expert guidance, real talk, and a little bit of humor along the way, hit that follow button and let's dive in. Next week, or at least at the time of this recording, is National Infertility Awareness Week for 2025. It's from April 20th to April 26th. And this week's episode, I want to bring awareness to this topic, right, of infertility, and also to kind of go over how to emotionally take care of you during this difficult time. I mean, it's honestly throughout your fertility journey, but especially during this week. Maybe your friends and family don't know you're going through this. Maybe you want to participate in this week and speak up about infertility, right? Or if you want to just disconnect from social media completely, that could be valid too. So basically, supporting yourself during this week is what we're talking about in this episode. But I mean, I actually honestly didn't even know about National Infertility Awareness Week until last year when I started to really engage in social media about PCOS and fertility and infertility, right? So connected with a lot of people, a lot of other coaches and professionals. That's how I knew about this week. And I think it's a great way, at least for the advocacy side of things, that I can talk about this thing more openly. I mean, I talk about fertility, infertility, PCOS all the time, right? But for my audience who normally don't feel like sharing, that could be triggering too. And especially when you're still going through the thick of trying to conceive, right? That's definitely is very, very difficult when you keep seeing people post about their pregnancy announcements, friends, right? A lot of relationships can be affected while you're trying to conceive and while you're going through infertility. It's kind of scary and nobody talks about it. And that's why we need to talk more about it. I felt very alone when I was trying to have my baby. I mean, I've talked to my mom and my husband, but just the feeling of my body failing me, that was, I think, the biggest issue I had in not understanding why it's so easy for other people to have a kid and get pregnant and live their life, why it was so hard for my body to cooperate. And I think it's, well, funny now, but definitely not funny back then. I sort of feel like my life is complete now. I don't know, like I could die happy, which is also, I don't know, morbid, but true to a point, because I've, was raised to go to school, go to college, get a job, get a career, have a husband, have a baby. and live my life. And so now that I've done exactly all of the things, I feel like I'm done. And I'm turning 35 in 6 months. So another reason why maybe I'm having a midlife crisis, but that's just what's going through my head nowadays. But okay. So back to this. I felt very alone and I didn't know what to do. But for you, I want you to know that this week can feel heavy. It just, or in general, things can feel heavy. Give yourself permission to take care of you first, right? You decide what's best for you, and you're allowed to say no to things that draining you, right? I had so many emotion that I couldn't really express to anyone because I didn't think anyone would understand. So finding a community really is a big thing that I would recommend to anyone. So let's kind of go over what to do when you feel overwhelming, okay? Seeing posts and discussion. So you get to choose how you engage or not engage, and you can protect your mental health first. And nobody really talks about mental health, at least for me when I was growing up. It's talked about more now, and I don't even think my parents understand what taking care of your mental health is, right? When I talk to them about my clients, or just how I support my clients through the space in general. But yeah, ask yourself,
During this quick interruption, but I have something I know you're going to love. If you've been feeling frustrated, lost, or just plain exhausted from trying to figure out how to regulate your cycle if you have irregular ovulation with PCOS and have to optimize your egg quality on your own, I've got you. I have a free masterclasses called Bun and Oven where I walk you through exactly how to regulate your cycle so you know exactly when you're ovulating, boost your fertility without any crazy restriction or cutting out all of your favorite foods, take simple science-backed steps that actually move you closer to meeting your baby. So who is this masterclass for? So if you have PCOS or other metabolic syndrome, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or maybe you're struggling with insulin resistant, then you come to the right place. And if you've been trying to conceive for a while now, or maybe you're just starting out and you don't know exactly what you need to do in order to get pregnant, this free masterclass is also for you. So in this class, we're also going to be talking about how I got pregnant naturally without taking any medication or supplement, even though I'm a pharmacist. And I'll show you how I did that. Right? I spent over 2 years trying to conceive, and I'll be able to go in depth a little bit more on the little mistakes I made along the way and what to do instead and how to avoid what I did to help you conceive a lot sooner than I did, right? I don't want you to have to spend 2 years trying to figure this out on your own. If you can take a shortcut, why not? This entire masterclass is about less than an hour long. I also will show you the method that I teach my clients now that helped them fall pregnant within 6 months, and one mama even got twins. So we'll go over how I regulate my cycle. It's normally really spaced out. Every 6 months or so, I would have a cycle, maybe once or twice a year. But after learning what I will show you in this masterclass, it was coming every single month right on the dot, every 28 days, which is kind of insane, right? That is exactly what you'll get in this powerful training. So my proven method that allowed me to regulate my cycle from over 108 days long to a 30 days consistent cycle, and how I improved my insulin resistance by lowering my A1C from 5.7, which is the pre-diabetes range, to 5.4, which is the normal range, in only 6 weeks. And I continue to keep it down even now, 2 years postpartum. And finally, all the common mistakes I made, but once avoided, I was able to fall pregnant naturally without any medication or supplement. And this entire training is completely free, and you can grab it right now at this link, bit.ly/meetmybaby. So bit.ly/meetmybaby. All right, so let's go back to today's episode.
How do you feel supported, and do you feel connected to people when you engage, or are you just consuming content out of curiosity, obligation, or guilt? Would taking a break from social media feel more healing and powerful for you, right? If scrolling through infertility posts make you feel hopeless, anxious, or emotionally exhausted, you have permission to step back, right? What you can do is kind of mute certain accounts or hashtags for the week, um, or take a break from social media altogether. If pregnancy posts make you feel triggering, right? And kind of curate your feed so that you're only following people who uplift you is something that you can do if social media feels like a really big headache at times, right? And create an emotional support plan for the week. I mean, we talk about preparing for this week, but honestly, all of these tips are really for your entire fertility journey. If you decide to engage, make sure that you have a plan to process your emotion, because infertility, PCOS can be a lot. So daily checks in, right? Check-ins take 5-10 minutes each day to ask, how am I feeling today? And I really love journaling, so I would recommend this to anyone. If something triggers you, write it out instead of keeping it bottled up. I mean, I was just telling my friend this the other day, that I was working through some emotion, and I I watched the show Shrinking on Apple TV, and I think one of the episode recommended that you write a letter to the person that was hurting you or triggering your emotion. And so that's what I did. I wrote a letter to the person that I had really big emotion for. So kind of like journaling too. You can actually just journal what you're feeling, but you can also write it in term of a letter, right? You don't have to send it. I didn't send mine. It's really just helping me process what you were feeling. And you can also utilize movement, gentle exercise, a walk, stretching, yoga can really help, process emotions physically, kind of working through that. I think one of the coaches I've learned from mentioned that this is like a moving meditation, which is what I think yoga can be, depending on the teacher. If they're really talking about mindset throughout that practice, it can really help. And I use that as a moving meditation, which is really fun. And speaking of meditation, you can actually do traditional breath work or meditation. Deep breathing can really help reset your nervous system. And actual quiet meditation, calming, non-moving meditation session can really help as well. And okay, actually, I think I've gone through the slide without actually giving you the slide. Finding the right kind of support is really next. Like the community that I wish I had, the private Facebook groups. I have one. It's if you want to join ours, it's the link is in the notes, right? The description below. This podcast or other podcasts that you love is another kind of community, and your friends too. If you have friends or family who went through this journey, or someone that you know of, you can always connect with our community, right? If you don't know anyone, or at least respect your boundaries. If you don't have anyone who truly gets it, make sure that you give yourself the permission to protect your peace and your boundaries. Okay. So yeah, now is really a great time to lean into things that you feel empowering from, inspire, supported, right? Instead of doom scrolling listen to a really good podcast like this one, read a really engaging book, things that really lift you up, creating spaces that make you feel uplifted, not drained is really what will help, right? Surrounding yourself with the right kind of support. I mean, for this week, for National Infertility Week, and for the entire journey of fertility is really important. And honestly, all of these tips that I talked about today can be helpful all the time, right? So reminder for this week, like just to wrap things up. This week is about awareness, but that doesn't mean that you have to participate in a way that hurts you. You decide what feels supportive and what doesn't, right? And if you need a space where you feel seen and understood, I'd love for you to stick around here and let's get through this together, right? If you need support, I'm here.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Becoming Moms Method. I hope you found it super helpful, and most of all, that it gave you a little bit more clarity and confidence in your fertility journey. And if today's episode really resonated with you, and if you're nodding, thinking along, yes, this is exactly what I need help with, then I want to invite you to take the next step. Because here's the truth, right? You don't have to keep guessing, keep second guessing, or keep trying random things, hoping something will work, which is what I did for over 2 years. You deserve a plan that actually made for you. So that's exactly why I created your next step called the Sticky Baby Formula. So you don't have to keep wondering what's missing or if you're doing the right thing. So with Sticky Baby Formula, I take a deep dive into your fertility journey and I tell you exactly what's working, what's missing, what to do next, right? Think of it as me sitting down with you, breaking it all down, giving you clear, personalized roadmap so that you can stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress towards your baby today. If that sounds like something you need right now, go to this link to get started. So bit.ly again, bit.ly/mystickybaby. Once you fill out this form, I'll personally go over it. I'll look at your information and everything that you submitted from this personalized form, and I'll send you a custom-made video with me recording my screen, sharing all of the tips. I will create a roadmap for you with all of my best recommendations according to what you provided, and you'll get this personalized video in 48 hours. So this is your chance to stop all the guesswork and start taking action with confidence. So if you're ready, head to bit.ly/mystickybaby now, and I can't wait to personally walk through this with you. I'll give you that link again. It's B as in boy, I as in igloo, T as in Tom, .L as in Larry, Y as in yellow, /my sticky baby. All right, friend, until next time, take care, stay hopeful, and know that I'm always cheering you on.